Hey guys, MC Mura here, and today we're gonna question the integrity of Kimberly. Is Kimberly a poorly designed character? Recently, I got a message from one of my friends, a Kimberly player, and poor guy was distressed. He sent me this tweet by Naji, and if you don't know, Naji is a very strong player from North America, New York, I believe. And the tweet goes, Kimberly is definitely top 5 worst designed characters in the game right now, gameplay wise. It looks like a salty tweet, but they elaborate a little bit on it. Nah, dude, she isn't even that good. There are so many more oppressive characters. And it's like, nah, there is. But her game plan went from mix to heavy punch run every interaction. So let me explain what they're talking about before giving my opinion. If you don't know the history of Kimberly, when Street Fighter 6 was first playable through the betas, Kimberly was very strong. Her teleports was really good, and her OD Tatsu, this used to be an invincible reversal, and she was so dominant during the beta, Capcom nerfed her pretty hard, I will say, and then comes a launch version of Street Fighter 6, and Kimberly wasn't really doing that great. She wasn't really relevant at all, didn't really had any results, until Capcom gave Kimberly one buff, which is this. And if you don't know what this means, well, let me explain. So Kimberly have a special move, which is the run, right? And the run can be cancelled into a number of follow-ups. Run into punch, she stops. Run into kick, she does this flip that is plus on block. There is obviously the slide, and there is the overhead, right? But if you don't do anything, there is the arc step, where Kimberly pretty much will bounce back. This is -6 on block, and because of the pushback, this is effectively safe. Like, there is no character that I know of that can punish this move on block like that, right? Now, obviously, you can do like a dive kick or a grab out of this bounce, and these can get interrupted or punished by the opponent if they call them out, but for the most part, the bounce back, the arc step, that is safe. So what is the buff that Capcom made? Pretty much they made her standing heavy punch cancel into the run, a block string, or not a block string, a frame trap, right? So we're sitting Ryu here to try to take back his turn with a jab, and if he tries to do that, he is gonna get counter hit. Now, if this happened to counter hit, if the arc step happened to counter hit, the dive kick follow-up is pretty much guaranteed, right? And this is great. As you can see, this sends the opponent very far towards the corner. Like, it's a +30 knockdown, they go very far. And because Kimberly is +30, this gives her true Oki. So we're gonna set Ryu to wake up with a jab, and she can just drive rush and grab him. Like, this is legit okay, and obviously in this game, Kimberly have a throw loop, and she have like a very powerful throw situation. Say that instead of the grab, we went with like a heavy kick meaty, it absolutely will still counter hit him, and yeah. This is pretty much like a fantastic situation for Kimberly. Now, what makes this sequence particularly oppressive is that there isn't one answer that beats all, because sure, like, run into a reversal button is gonna get frame trapped. Kimberly can run stop, and this is gonna be -4. So say that Ryu is gonna try to, I don't wanna deal with this mix, I'm just gonna OD uppercut. Which, sure, if she committed to the arc step, that's 2 bars and he got the reversal. But Kimberly can run stop, and she's only -4, so yeah. Bam, bam, bam. Now he lost a ton of drive gauge, and he still have to hold the mix, right? Say that Ryu is gonna, nah, I'm gonna try to DI. She also does not get guaranteed punishes by that DI, which is like really strong as well, right? Depending on the character and their DI, the interaction may differ, but as far as I know, she can always like dive kick or grab out of there. Again, this is not really like a punish, right? So this sequence is very strong, and another reason that this is very strong is simply the drive gauge damage that this sequence does. So say that Ryu's gonna block, and she's gonna do that. Let's not make him DI. Say that you just did heavy punch into the arc step. if you notice here, that is like 80% of a drive gauge gone. So if you treated this like a sequence where it's just a block string, I'm just gonna block, it does a fair bit amount of drive gauge damage, right? And obviously if you try to say, all right, you know what, I'm gonna try to parry, right, which obviously is a very viable option, she can grab you, and now with the throw you pretty much lost like 2 bars, and she got like a punish counter, so she gets a dash up into throw. It's gonna be like a real throw loop as well, even mid-screen. So that is very, very good. Now here is the thing with this whole sequence. Kimberly kind of had this prior, but it was on her standing medium punch, as this is probably what had the same properties prior, where standing medium punch run stop was -4, and that would like frame trap the jab and everything, and she would get like this really good knockdown. But now that this is on the heavy, people are... they're having much harder time against her, because remember, Kimberly is one of the fastest character, not one of, she is the fastest character in the game, especially once you trigger the level 3. Her movement now is actually insane. Like, she is so much faster than the rest of the roster, and obviously this is a heavy that is 9 frame startup that got pretty good range, and coupled especially with standing medium kick. This move actually by itself is just hit confirmable, so this makes this sequence very strong, right? Just like a very, very, very strong option, right? Now, does Ryu have zero counterplay? There is nothing that you could do? Nah, there is absolutely some options. Like, one of the things that I personally do against this move is simply delay button. Say that we're gonna delay our jab by 5 frames. And if he does that, Kimberly does heavy punch into the run step. It's he's gonna block it out, so that is not too bad. And if Kimberly try to run and then stop, because she's -4, she's gonna get counter hit if she try to check with something after the stop, right? Because she's still -4. We delayed by about 4 or 5 frames, so Ryu's turn is still intact, and now she's in your face, and you get to jab and then apply like whatever sequence you want. That is a good option, right? That is a good option, and I think it is even like a little bit reactable to the run. And here's the thing, if Kimberly committed to some of the other follow-ups, like say the Blossom Block Light Kick, because this is so slow, you're still gonna counter hit her, and even like the overhead, which this one may catch you, but at that point, if Kimberly is throwing out the low or the overhead, I mean, they're kind of cracked, right? Because this obviously is still pretty safe, but she's putting herself -3 in your face point blank. So it is a button, it's a situation that sets up like an annoying situation, but I don't think there is zero room for stuff you could do, right? And obviously a parry here can do work as well. Like, if you parried by like couple frames, you can. I don't know why he's getting the imperfect parry, but yeah, like he can get a parry here, and it's gonna give her a freeze, and then he's gonna get a knockdown. And remember, Kimberly is a character without strong reversal options. She kind of needs a level 3. One of the things about Kimberly is that Kimberly really doesn't want to use level 1, because it doesn't deal that much damage. Like, it does deal good damage, but she's gonna have to spend the cans to get like the good damage, and by default Kimberly have lower damage than the rest of the roster, so most of the time Kimberly wanna combo into level 3 to get the damage, so she doesn't really wanna reversal a lot, right? So if you happen to do that and you got the perfect parry on her, you got the knockdown against a character that doesn't have an OD reversal, doesn't really wanna use level 1, really want to get the level 3 to get the damage buff, because that is when she's most threatening, I honestly think it's fine. Like, let the poor girl have some tools to play with. And real talk, right? Real talk. In this game, characters that are off meta, or I won't say off meta, characters that pretty much doesn't have like a crouching medium kick drive rush, they need to be a little bit cracked, right? They need to be kinda stupid. They need to be a little bit unreasonable, right? Like, for example, We can talk about JP, right? JP is certainly unreasonable, and that is what makes him work. We have characters like Aki and her damage output, right? That is unreasonable, and her like chip out situation with burnout. And a blossom block crouching medium kick, right? That stuff is unreasonable, but they kind of need it, right? I think characters, and make no mistake, Kimberly is still like a 3-6 character. She does have a heck of a drive rush crouching medium kick. That thing is pretty much like a thing of beauty. Like she can do that stuff, and that could lead to like a lot of damage, obviously. So she does have like some very powerful option, but we kind of have to look at the facts. The fact of the matter is, she needs it. Full stop. Like, because it's 3-6 and the way that the game is right now, characters need to be very strong to be competitive. We have a character like Lily with OD Condor Spire, which in a vacuum, OD Condor Spire is the singular most overpowered move I have ever seen. Like no cap, as they say. You have a move that is 9 frame, projectile invul, 24 frame active, leaves her at a plus advantage, and she have a command grab. Like, imagine what I'm saying. Yet Lily is still considered to be one of the weakest, if not the weakest character in the game. So characters need to be a little bit unreasonable, right? What Kimberly have is definitely good, is definitely very strong. I don't think there is downplaying that fact, but given that this is 3-6 and the power level is too high, I think it's fine. Genuinely, I think it's fine. Right? Is the drive gauge damage good? Absolutely, but you do have characters like Ryu who can do that, which is like over 1 bar of drive gone, it's a block string, you can't do anything about it, right? So yeah, Mura says, in the current state, let it rock. What are your thoughts? Do you think that makes Kimberly a little bit too strong? Do you think that sequence is too overpowered? Would you love to see it normalized? I know it's annoying, but Kimberly, I think it's supposed to be a little bit annoying. That's how I see it. If you like the video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.